Hello, my Teaser King family. How's everybody today? Hope you are well. I am fine. Just 1 second. All right. So, how is everybody today? Happy August. Let's look at a couple preseason games yesterday, the baseball yesterday. Let's see what our gold is. So let's see what happened yesterday. So we start with our gold. How did gold end the week? And again, it's paper gold, but we need a way to keep score just to see. So we got gold there at 64.70. It's been 66 again. The Fed and Bart Simpson are holding it down for no reason. Gold 43.76. We didn't get to 44 yesterday, but we did get a nice run up from 2 o'clock in the morning where it looked like maybe it's going down under 43 to back to near 44. Again, it's all bullshit. It's paper. It's done by options. It's not supply and demand. People say, oh, it's supply and demand. There's no fucking way it's supply and demand. Now you fuck with the supply. There's 200,000 tons of gold. In the paper market, there's 4.3 million. Explain how that's supply and demand when you increase supply. So you're selling options on gold that doesn't exist. How the fuck is that legal? What a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, we know much higher. We know China is about to make it a physical market, which we can't wait for because that lowers the supply to 200,000 tons, which then makes the price a 200,000 ton price, not a $4 million price. And the same thing with silver. It'll make silver a 1 million supply price instead of I think it's like a 75 million ton price. Well, how are you doing 75 million tons of paper silver when there's only 1 million? So, I mean, it's such a obvious bullshit. So I was watching something where, banks run it. Oh, really? We didn't know that. Banks run the government. Banks run the countries. Why they want wars doesn't make sense. I guess maybe because they can sell more loans to the defense contractors, I guess, because the banks are predicated on loaning the bullshit money that they don't have. They print it out of thin air. So it gets them more loans, which gets them more money. So that's the bank's involvement in it. They don't care about all the people that get killed, or we're going to have a gas problem because they're not letting the Strait of Hormuz is not open. Trump is the biggest fucking liar I've ever seen in my life. Everything that comes out of his mouth is fantasy. I don't know why. I hate people without no backbone. You say the truth and you live with it. You try to do the right thing, so the truth sounds good. But what the fuck is this guy? He's on drugs or something. They say they think he's senile, but he's clearly controlled by the Israelis with the blackmail of the Epstein stuff. These wars are a joke. Nobody understands. We're trying to steal the oil and gold from Iran and Russia. That's the point of the war. And I give you the Hitler example. He needed money. That's why he blitzkrieged. He went right to the central banks, stole the gold and silver from Poland, Czechoslovakia, all these countries, and brought it back. That's war. You have a big army, so you try to steal from these other little countries. That's why the U.S. has never fought a big war. We keep fighting Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein. So it's Iraq and Lebanon, these little Middle Eastern countries. And we bomb them because they want to go on a gold standard. And that's fine, but not against Iran and Russia. You're not going to beat them. Normally, you don't have a nuclear war because there's no winners. We nuke you, you nuke us, and everybody dies. So usually it's a defense mechanism, not an offensive mechanism. And we'll see. The U.S. is very understanding they're not going to be the power anymore, and they're crying about it. And China knows and Russia knows they'll be number one because they got all the gold. And that's the only thing that makes sense. Is why the U.S. is keeping the price of gold down is so Russia and China won't be richer. But again, why is the U.S. the one pricing gold when we don't have any? And it's a worldwide thing, so there should be a couple of different markets with it, just like going to Kroger's or Walmart's selling gold, and it should be all over the world. Not why would the U.S. do a paper gold price? Well, who's the idiot that agreed to that? So anyway, I know China and Russia are pissed off that it is the U.S. doing a paper gold price to keep their gold cheap, and they've been buying a shitload of it. No, these announcers are so stupid. It's not the central bank buying it. It's the regular banks. It's the military. It's the people in China's cases. Some central bank, but there's no rule. The central bank's the only one who can buy gold. I'm not a central bank. I buy gold. So anyway, this is the craziness. It should be a free market like everything else. If there's a buyer and a seller, you do. Then you have a market, and then you set a price. And if the buyer is still willing to buy it for what the seller is willing to sell it for, you have a market. And as there's more demand coming in, the price goes up because I can't get it, but I still want it. And if the price is too high, the market says we don't want to buy, the price goes down. Very simple. Austrian economics 501, because we're a master's class. We're not 101. It's funny, you hear these other things, master classes. I am a master class because I have a master's. I can say that. These other idiots, they can't. So we saw Mark McGuire yesterday. Again, he has a hard time really, like following him is very difficult. To listen to a whole 40 minutes of his show is extremely hard. He talks, there's no emotion in his voice. He talks a little bit with words that nobody understands. He talks in bank language instead of real language. So you kind of get the gist. Yeah, gold's going to 8,000. What's stopping it? When are we blowing up COMEX, which is coming? What's the problem? Why can't Shanghai just come out with the gold market and then that's okay and you try to compete? COMEX, I think, is falling apart rapidly because they can't settle in gold. So if somebody comes in to buy a ton of gold off of COMEX, some big bank, they don't have it and they can't really get it. and not at these prices. So if they quote this 43.76, well, if you're China and you want to buy 10 tons of this at 43.76, they don't have it. So they can't sell it, they can't give it to you, and they'll try to give you dollars. Well, if they print monopoly money, who wants that? I think the world is catching on that the money's worthless. I think most people, they don't want to hold the treasuries because they know it's not worth it. Even if I hold it for 5 years and get 5%, it's not worth it. The U.S. is, but it's, backing of the government. Big deal. And what does that mean? The government is worthless. They're a bunch of liars. They want war because they want to sell defense weapons because our economy sucks because you got all these idiots printing all this money. So when you put socialists in charge who don't understand Austrian economics, money markets, prices, this is the problem you have. We'll just print more money. We'll have a war, and the defense contractors will make money, and that'll help the economy. What a bunch of idiots. You never want to just print money out of thin air. The whole idea of banks are ridiculous. Banks, to survive, need to create loans and get interest. Otherwise, they're fucked. And if they don't get paid back on the loans so if you have a mortgage and you say, I can't pay you back, or your car payment or credit cards, sorry, I'm not paying you back. The bank is fucked. They're bankrupt. Because that's the only way a bank makes money. How stupid is that? We make money when we loan you money out of there, charge you 10%, and that's our revenue. Really? This is your business model? Oh my God. How about if you actually had it? So I could actually sell this card and make money because I have it. But I can't sell 20 of these if I only have one. That's an ETF. And the bank creates this out of thin air. Oh, yeah, we'll have a Mantle card and you pay us all this. And they don't really have it. They just give you paper. So that's the biggest thing with ETFs. They don't have the gold. You're never getting the gold. It's all a Ponzi scheme. This Rick Rude and this Spear, or whatever his name is, should be in jail. I can't listen to Rick Rude. He talks like a moron. He's a credit analyst, not an economist. And he's a scammer. That Richard Kawasaki, he's in jail for a Ponzi scheme. So all these guys they put on, and you listen to them, and they're all crooks. Except me. I'm not a crook. I'm too smart to be a crook. So that's what you have with that. So the real economics is based on competition. That's capitalism. I can go to 10 different stores. I can look at prices. I can look at quality. And I can turn, if I go to my barbecue place, lately he's been burning the ribs. I'm not going to go back for ribs. If I go back, it'll be for chicken. But it's the key to it is I can look at his quality and his price and determine if I want it versus other stores. Do I want to go to Big Boys? Well, they're very expensive. Panera, I was watching, they're out of business because they tried to fuck all their customers by the idea was fresh bread and a reasonable price, and it went to the bread wasn't fresh. They were freezing it, and the quality went to shit, but the price stayed high. So you're paying $10 for something that should pay $5 for, and they're all going broke, or if they already haven't. Same thing with Burger King. There's a few Burger Kings open, but they're going out. They can't compete. The quality of the food, the problem is the quality of Burger King and McDonald's is shit. You're not even getting real meat. At Wendy's, it's smaller. At Culver's, it's a joke. It's very expensive for what they give you. So a lot comes to value. Am I getting the value for what I'm paying for? Now, we understand our $10 is not worth anything. It's basically worth 10 cents. But still, what we should be getting the value of our $10 at a restaurant or the grocery store is comparative. That's why you see like the Meyer brand or the Walmart brand is, versus Hunt's or Heinz or whatever. And then you have to determine, is it worth Oreos versus the Meyer Oreos? So that's a lot of it. It's really the value for your product. And it could be a restaurant, it could be the grocery store, it could be a shirt. Polo, when I go up north, it's like $100 for polo, or it'll be 100, and then they give you like 30% off or something. You go to Brooks Brothers, and it's $25. And we know how good Brooks Brothers is, and it is competitive with polo. And you're like, why would anybody buy a polo? There's no brand recognition. It all becomes value. Well, wait a minute. You want $60 for the polo shirt, and Brooks Brothers is $25 for the same shirt, except for a little different animal on the front. And you're like, that's ridiculous. What do I got on? I got Nauticon. Doesn't matter if it's a polo pony or a sailboat or a goat or whatever Brooks Brothers is, or Tommy Hilfiger. They're relatively the same. So then I want to get the best value for my money to buy a new shirt because I want a new shirt. Mine are getting old. I want a new one. Daria likes green, so I'll buy some more green. Been wearing a lot of green for her. And that's the point. Daria's in Russia, and the VPN, I asked her about that. She'll say, I get a VPN, and then I hear from her for a couple of days, and I don't hear from her for a week. I said, how long do the VPNs last? She says 2 or 3 days. I suppose you could get a more expensive one for the month. We pay for the month, right? I get cable internet for the month, but hers is like 3 days of VPN. So that's why I'm not hearing from her. They don't last that long, and Putin's killing it because of the war. So you get a few days in there. So I always wonder, like when it's rent time, it's like, oh yeah, that's why she's on. She knows she's going to get rent. Otherwise, there's no reason. Like she says, if I need to, I'll email you. Otherwise, you won't hear from me. But I'm not ignoring you. I got to get a VPN because of the war, and so it works for a few days. Again, that's value for the money. As everything is. You get a certain food, it's a little more expensive, but yesterday I got some New York strips on sale for, I think, $10. So I got a few of those. They were real nice looking too. That was value, but when they're 22, I don't find the value in the New York strip, even though it's a nice piece of meat. I was talking to a lady at the meat counter. I always do that. I just talk to people. And it was, she got porterhouse. I said, why don't you get the New York strips? They're on sale for $10. She said, well, I just feel like a porterhouse. I said, well, you should get some and just freeze them. So next time you want a steak. And she says, well, I got gout. I can't eat that much meat. And I go, I don't think it's meat that gives you the gout. I think it's caffeine. I've got it narrowed down because if I have a Diet Coke, it'll hurt. If I get even a Diet Squirt or Diet Vernors, so I think it's not necessarily the caffeine in the pop, but there's acid in the pop, which I'm high in acid. That's why I get the gout. And I said, that's the problem is the high acid that's in the Diet Pops. And I said, otherwise, if I have a chocolate cake, it does hurt me once in a while, but it's not consistent. I think my acid level goes down, and then if I start drinking a Diet Squirt or I have a piece of chocolate cake or something like that, all of a sudden my acid, it doesn't deplete fast enough as we get older. I don't know if it's a kidney thing or a liver thing or who knows why. Whatever gets rid of the acid, it isn't getting rid of it as much as it should. That's what happens as we age. But I told her I think it's more the caffeine of the pop or of the chocolate that gives us the gout more than the meat, because I haven't had red meat in a while and I get gout. So just because I don't have shellfish and I don't drink like liquor, so I don't know where it's coming from. But that's the only thing I do eat is I'll have a piece of chocolate cake or a cookie or something. I know I'm not supposed to eat it, but what fuck? And it's just it's one little bite, right? I'm getting one cookie. I'm not eating a whole box of Oreos. But then I do know I do get my gout after I have a lot of the cookies or cakes or ice cream. I get a thing of ice cream and yeah, and then it feels fine. It feels fine, and then it boom. So I think it's a combination of it. But everything's about value. Are you getting the value? Are you getting the value with your girlfriend? Are you happy with her? Does she give you what you want? Do you give her what you want? And that's part of the key to it is value in the girl. We want certain things from her. We want her to act a certain way. She wants us to act a certain way. I think that's what happens with divorce. You lose the value. The attention's gone. Okay, I love her. I married her. Now I'm going to go out and I'm going to go play golf. I'm going to go play poker. And she wants the attention. Maybe you're not getting enough sex. Or she's not getting enough sex. So you go look for it. It's all value there. The value goes away. And you look for other people and you get value from them. Because it's always new in the beginning. It's always good. And then it kind of fades. It gets boring and same old, same old. So you got to keep the spice in it. But it's value, right? The chicken, the value, the going out to eat. Now with this bullshit 3% crap. I saw that at my barbecue place. Oh, yeah. We're adding 3% for credit card. And I take that offensively, like, no. That's the value of doing business. If you want customers to come, you need to not charge them the bullshit for the credit card. The credit card charges you 3% because it's a loan. If I pay for the meal, it's a loan. If I don't pay it right back, but otherwise, it's really you either then don't accept credit cards, because if you're going to accept them, you've got to understand the 3%. When I take Teaser King, please pay friends and family, but because then I don't have to pay the 3%, and you don't either. But if you do friends and family, it's fine. But when I that's part of doing business. If I want to get paid, I have to do either PayPal or Venmo, and that's it, right? That's cost of doing business. I can't get paid any other way because who knows where people are buying from. And the restaurants, it's the cost of doing. If you want people to eat there, you got to accept credit cards because we don't carry cash. I'm not bringing $50 to the restaurant to eat. So if you're going to, if you're going to start charging 3%, but your ribs are burnt, yeah, I'm not going to come back. I'll make my own ribs. They got ribs at the grocery store, and I can make them. I said, but this is crazy. I'm not gonna pay your cost of doing business. You shouldn't charge the 3%. That's really rude. There's an Italian place I used to go to, and then it's 3% for credit card. I said, fuck off. I'm not paying 3%. And I think it's bad business. I don't charge 3%. Oh, if you're gonna buy my Teaser King, well, just raise the price a couple dollars. So if I'm $100 for both college and pro for the week. I'm not going to go 103. I'll just go 100, and if I really feel, I'll go 105. There, now you're paying the 3% without telling you you're paying the 3%. But to actually put a note up, you're charging them 3%. It's ridiculous. Just raise the price $1, which they did. They made my barbecue chicken, I think, went from $14.99 to $15.99. Okay, fine. There's your 3% without telling me because it looks terrible. You're cheap by doing it. You don't always have to tell the customer what you're doing, but all they should do is raise things $1, and which I think they have. I think I got the barbecue chicken rib combination. I think it was $25.99. It used to be like $21.99. But I'm not getting but the ribs are burnt. I mean, what is that? So I don't know if I can eat the ribs there anymore. I don't really like eating burnt ribs. So I don't know. I don't know what you're doing, guys. Anyway, but it's the value for the market, and what the idiots and the Fed are doing are ruining the value of the dollar as if they're ruining the value of the ribs or the chicken or the tuna fish or whatever. So you can't, once you ruin value, you're fucking everybody. The difference is people can see the prices of the ribs going up, but they can't see is the value of the dollar going down. And that's what I'm impressing on everybody is the value of your dollar has gone down 100%. It's worthless, basically. I know Egon says 99%. I don't see that. I don't think this is worth anything. I don't know how you split hairs, 99% versus 100. The businesses have to take it. And I want to get my hair cut. She has no choice. She wants to get paid. She has to take monopoly money. That's her only choice. Be it a dollar or a credit card, it's the same thing. And it's all electric. It's not digital. Digital is something else. You're using on a credit card or a debit card electric money. It's electric, not digital. People want to call it digital now. Or Pat was like digitizing gold. I don't know what that means. The fact you can pay it with a credit card. So when China buys oil from Iran, they're paying online or whatever through the Enbridge system, and here you go, and they're giving them gold. I don't know what digital means. Maybe it's just the way they're paying it, but it's not like Bitcoin, which is just fake. I saw that at 62,000 yesterday. So real good investment for the Bitcoin people. Yeah, you'll make a lot. Oh, it's priced in dollars. Oh, so it isn't worth anything. So that's a lot of economics. It's competition and value. It's price, which tells you your value. What will you give for that? What will you give? I'm not going to sell this for $10. It's fucking Mickey Mantle. But maybe I can't sell it for 20,000. Maybe that's too expensive, and the person doesn't feel he's getting value for that card. However, if it's graded a PSA 10 or 9, then they feel like, oh, 60,000 is good value because it is a PSA 9. I haven't seen one. I looked. It's a 1964 AL Bombers, but I haven't. I tried to type in PSA 9. I haven't seen one. So I really don't know what it's worth. And it's a big jump. Like you see a PSA 5 or 6, and it's a big jump when it goes from 5 or 6 to 9, and then even a bigger jump to 10. The Montana rookie card 10 is 100,000. The 9 is, I think, 10 grand. And then the 8 or 7 is worth maybe 2 grand. So it shows you that the better the grade, the more limited, the more value. So everything's about value. Now, bringing it to sports, we're looking for the same value with the point spread. So we see a football game, and I think most of the ones I called that I didn't bet, but I called, like Indy was favored over New England, and I said, that's crazy. And there's a few other teams that were favored, and they all lost. I didn't see as bad as Tennessee is, that they could be favored over somebody, or the Jets or Indy, whoever was favored. I think the Jets might have been favored, and they lost. So what I'm looking for when I bet football is value. What should the team be favored over the other team by? That's the end game. The beginning game we walk through. So the end is, all right, after all my careful analysis and understanding the teams and looking at the injuries and the weather, I think this team should be favored over that team. That's the value. And when we see the wrong team favored, there's no value in Indianapolis being favored over New England or the Jets being favored over, the Pitt Panthers. I mean, the Jets can't be favored over anybody. And so there's no value in betting the Jets as the favorite because they're not good. The value comes in trying to understand the team. So when we see a team like Indiana 40 points over, Ball State or whoever, is that the right value? And when I think Ohio State's playing Ball State. Let's see. Indiana, my apologies. Indiana is playing North Texas with a new coach and a new quarterback. They're 40-point favorites. Ohio State's 50 over Ball State. Is that a value? Is that a good price to pay for it? And that's what it comes down to. So what is value? What each team's worth. We know Ohio State's an A team. That's why we value the team. That's why we grade the team. So we see Ohio State, very strong team, very strong defense, quarterback's back, great receiver, coach, against Ball State, who was a W team last year. So we can look at Ball State and we got the Gray Sports Almanac out and we go, okay, who's Ball State? And we go to the MAC. And all right, so let's look at MAC. Let's try to value Ball State. Here's Ball State. The ranking they give is 119. I ignore. They got a new quarterback who's a junior. They didn't win too many games last year. If the offensive line can keep the quarterback upright, the offense could be better. Could. If the defensive line can improve against the run and a pass rusher is found to take up somebody's slack, and the defense could be better. That's a lot of ifs and could. Probably too many to realistically expect the Cardinals to contend in the MAC. Last year, they only scored 15 a game. This year, they gave up 30 a game, 226 passing, 178 running. Second-year coach Mark Umovich, who was 4-8 last year in the fucking MAC. Texas State transfer Keldrick Luster and Conquer both impressed. Well, Texas State, that's not their starting quarterback from last year. So Ball State is not that good of a team. When we look at last year, they lost to Purdue 31-0, Auburn 42-3. Who did they beat? They beat New Hampshire Division II team. They beat Ohio 20-14. They beat Akron, a Z team, 42-28. So they basically are nothing. So there's no value in Ball State. Ohio State's 50. We know the quarterback and receiver and their strong defense. The question is, how long will the players play? Maybe just it depends what the score is. But you're laying 50 points. Is that enough? Is that too much to get? Do you get value in laying the 50? knowing how explosive Ohio State is, but knowing if it's 40-0, these guys are not playing. And then how good is their second team who want to play? So you always have that incentive of the second team wanting to do well and throwing the ball to the second team receivers because they want to do it. And the second team defense, they all want to get playing time. They're all pretty good players. So it's how good is the backup quarterback at Ohio State and the backup receivers to tell you if they're going to keep scoring or not. But is 50 points a good value, or is the Indiana game against North Texas laying 40 a better value? And this is why you must know the teams. And this is why pro is easier than college, because pro football is there's 32 teams, and we get a good idea of the teams. We see the box scores. We know most of the players. We've heard of all of them. We know all the coaches, quarterbacks. Pros are much easier than college because, again, Ball State. Who's Ball State in the NFL? The Jets. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at who the team is and we're kind of valuing each team. Ohio State gets a 10 and Ball State gets a 1. But what does that really mean? How do you just diversify it into the point spread? It's very difficult. So when Ohio State plays Texas, they're pretty even, right? I give a slight edge to Ohio State because Arch Manning sucks and Sayan's pretty good, and they got Smith the receiver, and both coaches kind of stink. So you basically have a pretty even game. If Texas is favorite, I get a lot of value in Ohio State. If Ohio State's favorite, I get a lot less value because the game's in Texas, and then I look for the over/under in the game, probably the under. But that's valuing that. But we know Ohio State and Texas. We see them. We see the Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Michigan game. We understand the value. When the coach from Iowa State goes to Penn State, we know the value of the coach and quarterback at Iowa State now goes to Penn State. Where we lose it is when, okay, who's replacing the quarterback, the coach at Iowa State and the quarterback? We don't know. I think it's a Washington State guy. Well, he stinks. We don't know his value. And this is what we're struggling with in the beginning is you got a new quarterback. We don't know the value of the quarterback. Lane Kiffin goes to LSU, and we get the Arizona State quarterback who's very good. So we have LSU's value. Now, Lane Kiffin's a good offensive coach. We assume LSU will score a lot. We're not sure of the defense, but they'll be a high-scoring team. Alabama, we don't know their quarterback. How do we value Alabama? Well, we assume he's a pretty good quarterback because we know the coach wouldn't bring in a bad quarterback, and he gets a choice of good quarterbacks because it's Alabama. So that's what we're looking at. And we saw what the board did with Penix. Penix was good at Indiana, and he hurts his knee, and then he goes to Washington. He doesn't hurt his knee, and he turns into a very strong quarterback because of DeBoer. So we know DeBoer. Ty Simpson was nothing. I can't believe the guy got drafted. That's crazy, especially in the first round. That was ridiculous. But when you look at this year's quarterback, DeBoer will make him a good quarterback. We don't know how good, but like Ty Simpson, we didn't know because he was on the bench. So this guy should be pretty good. That's one thing we can go with, and that's why you need the coach. The coach will make the value of the team and the player better, DeBoer. Then we look at a guy from Ohio State, Now, Michigan added value with the coach. Whittingham from Utah is it's the best coach Michigan's had since Bo. Let's put it that way. Let's call the spade the spade. Again, I apologize for whatever that idiot was that came on, but I deleted her. So again, I can't control people coming in, but I can knock them out, which is what I did. So again, I apologize. I hope nobody got offended. I got offended with it. So I don't like that. This is not about that. This is Austrian economics. Everybody is the same. Anyway, so that's what you're looking at is the value. So what value is the coach going to give you? And that's why it's important to have a good coach. The coach will make the players better. Look at Lombardi. He came in and Green Bay hadn't won anything in years. They hadn't even gone 500. His first year, they went 500. The second year, they went to the championship game and lost to Philadelphia, and then they won the next two titles. He brought value. He made Paul Hornung better and Bart Starr better and Ray Nitschke better and all these guys who were already there, and they couldn't go 500 because they didn't give a shit because they had a bad coach. So Michigan with Whittingham is a great coach. He will make the players better. He'll make the team better. That jumps the value of Michigan up. That's why you got to look at the coaching changes. The quarterback will add value if he's a good quarterback. That's why I don't understand nobody taking our guy, whatchamacallit, Daggio. Why is nobody taking Daggio? It's going to make the quarterback position better on their team and add value to the team, make them a better team. And yet nobody takes them because why? Reuben Bain, he had short hands. Oh, yeah, that's really affecting him. Daggio is too small. Well, Steve Young on Carolina is the same height, 5'10". Kyler Murray's 5'11". They're playing. They're starting. They're losing. We'll see what Kyler does with Minnesota. I hope he does well with Jefferson. But we're all looking at value. So the quarterback gives us value. The coach gives us value. Justin Jefferson or Chase gives us value. A good defensive coordinator, Spagnuolo, gives us value. The team is valued at an A, B, E, W, or Z. How good your offense, how good your defense. It's really the coach. I was watching the 1968 week number 1 highlights, and the Eagles were terrible. And you wonder why the Eagles are terrible, and it starts with the coach. Well, it really starts with the owner, and then it goes to the coach. If you have a good coach, you'll get good players, and you'll be a better team. The team stinks because the coach stinks, and the coach stinks, and the players stink, which means the owner stinks because the owner's allowing this coach to coach with no talent. When Chuck Noll came to the Steelers in 1970, he says, I know what the problem is here. You guys stink. The players were terrible. But why were the players on the team? Because the other coach, this is what he came up with. Or he wasn't a good coach, or he didn't demand that I get my players in. Lombardi was the coach GM. He was in charge of player personnel. The coach needs to be in charge of the players he coaches. The Bill Parcells, if I'm in the kitchen, if I'm going to cook, let me buy the ingredients or whatever he said. Let me go to the grocery store. A good coach doesn't matter, but I think he should have a choice in his players because he knows what certain players add value to his team. A good defense, Joe Green, Jack Ham, Franco Harris, Lynn Swann. These guys add value to the team. Not what they had. I mean, Steelers didn't have a running back like Harris. And even the spot Harris, he was a fullback at Penn State. He wasn't a lead back. He was no star at Penn State. He might have been okay, but it was like the other guy, on Baltimore was the stud of Penn State. He was more the blocking back, but Pittsburgh saw that he was a good running back, made him the running back. Just to see that, it's sort of like Brady. New England saw that Brady was a good quarterback at Michigan and in the 7th round, going, well, he's better than whatever all these other quarterbacks that went. And that's what you've got a good eye will see value. That's what I'm trained in. I see value in the baseball cards, the football cards, and especially picking football and baseball games. Now I've kind of discovered the value in the baseball as the pitcher, and in football, the coach, the quarterback, and the defense. Why do the Lions have a bad defense? Because the coach sucks. Because the coach sees the defense and doesn't do anything. They're all injured. You got to get rid of them. Once you get injured, you hurt your knee. Hutchinson should be gone. A good coach would get rid of him. Look at New England. They let Richard Seymour go, who was healthy because he wanted a big contract, and we don't do that here. The Lions need to let Hutchinson go, but they're too stubborn because the guy drafted him, and he's, oh, this is my guy. I drafted him, so I'm going to keep. A good coach would get rid of him. They should never have paid Jack Campbell money. He's worthless. The safeties are injured. You need to get new safeties. So the Lions are not, they're losing value because the value they had is all going down, right? You're signing linebackers, no good. You're signing running backs, it's ridiculous. They don't know what they did. They gave Goff a big contract. That was ridiculous. You didn't need Goff. Goff doesn't give you value. He's a choke. He's like Darnold. Darnold is no good without the running game. And when you got rid of Kenneth Walker, you've killed the value of Darnold, and you killed the value of, you'll never get back to the Super Bowl with Darnold. There's a reason Darnold sucks. There's a reason against the Lions in that number 1 seed game a couple years ago, he got blitzed, and that was it. I mean, there was a reason he stinks. But that's just who he is. And he's not all of a sudden getting better. He got better because of Kenneth Walker, and I can't get my pit out of my avocado. It's stuck in there. So the good coach recognizes what he's got and adds value to it. And if the guy's injured, you're losing value. So Hutchinson might have been a 10 value, breaks his leg. Now he's probably a 3 or 4 value. But you want a 10 value. So you're keeping a guy worth 3 or 4 instead of a guy worth 9 or 10. Because he used to be a 9 or 10, but he broke his leg in half, and there's no way you can recover from that. You look like shit last year. He'll look like shit this year. It's just who he is after a serious leg injury. It's not like breaking your foot in the heels. This is your leg. This is your leg snapping in half. This is not the same injury. So you've got to recognize that and get rid of him and bring in more value. And you're not. You sign him to a big contract. Now you're fucked. And now you wonder why the Lions didn't make the playoffs. Because the value of the teams dropped because of who you kept. And now with Goff paying all this money to, you can't sign defensive players. Your defense sucks. They had a 30 defense at the end of last season. You win. Seattle had the best defense. What was Seattle, like a 17? So let's see. So Seattle had a 17 defense, and Detroit has a 28 defense. And you wonder, that's the difference between winning a Super Bowl and not making the playoffs. You cannot have a weak defense and make the playoffs. It doesn't happen. The Rams did because of Stafford, but their defense, they had played Seattle twice, who scored a lot of points on them because they couldn't handle Kenneth Walker. But that's what I'm doing is I'm valuing the teams, and the value changes with injuries. A new coach comes in, their value goes up or down. Michigan's value went up with Whittingham. So did Penn State's. It went up with Matt Campbell from Iowa State, who the Lions I thought had got, but they got the wrong Campbell. They probably didn't know. They probably didn't know who they were taking. Oh, we'll take Campbell, the Iowa State coach. Oh, what do you mean he was the tight end coach at New Orleans? And the GM gets all the credit. Well, you had the number 2 pick in the draft. How hard was that to take a good pick? Last couple of years, he hasn't picked anybody because he's picking lower in the draft. He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't think it was hard to pick Jerome Gibbs because he was on Alabama. An easy pick. St. Thomas was at USC. That was a little bit more difficult, but still, you're running that offense of Lincoln Riley. Penei Sewell, number 10 pick. So the players that he got were very easy picks, very, very low, high in the draft type of picks. But after he gets in the second, third round, he doesn't pick anybody. St. Thomas, probably an accident. And that's it. Hendon Hooker was a much better player, but not fit for your offense. What are you doing? I saw him in the box score. He's on Arizona or something. So what you're trying to do in all of life and economics and picking football and baseball is value. Mizorowski gives us high value. Skeins, the value of Skeins went down a little bit. He's not as dominant as he was. Sanchez at Philly and Wheeler and Chris Sale, these guys have high value. That's why we bet them, because the pitcher gives you the value. I was watching the 68 Tigers, and Lolich pitches on 2 days rest, and he pitches a complete game. So this 5-day rest and 100 pitches is all bullshit. Okay. But Lolich won the thing. They said the reason he was effective against St. Louis is he had a low slider, and they couldn't hit this low slide, and he was a left-hander. And McLean threw more of a high pitch. They couldn't hit Gibson. He 17 strikeouts in game 1, including K-Line twice and Cash twice. That was that's the idea. The pitcher down, the complete game. He wasn't coming out. They had a lead. It's not like let's go to the bullpen. No, we got the best pitcher on the mound. Let's use him. So it's all about value. So that's the key. That's the key to economics. These have lost their value. Their values are zero right now. That's what you got to understand. And gold has value. That's why we go into gold and silver. And it can't lose its value because you can't print gold and silver. You print the dollar to death. It loses its value. You can't do it with gold and silver. Oh, I was watching real quickly. Let me show you this video. In China, this bank is putting out copper painted gold. So it looks like it's gold. Only in China can these idiots be fooled, but this is why you don't buy from a bank. Okay. All right, so here's the scandal. Gold bars turned copper, 4 billion in fake gold scandal. Again, this is why you go to a gold store.
There's one adjustment at your electrical panel that could cut your bill almost in half. Takes 60 seconds. But the story of how
comment section wrote on August.
Okay, so this is China, and they're buying their gold from a bank, but they're not testing it. And they're trusting the bank to do this, and it's wrong.
A bizarre incident reportedly occurred at a China Construction Bank branch in Chengdu, Sichuan province. A person claimed that a gold bar he had previously purchased from the bank was sent to a gold shop for processing, where it was found to be made of copper instead of gold. The person immediately called the police. Officers then accompanied him to the bank, where he brought out the unopened gold bar and confronted bank employees. After carefully checking the item, the bank staff confirmed that it was sold by China Construction Bank. However, they were unable to explain how the gold bar had turned out to be copper. The incident sparked a wave of online discussion. Among China's major state-owned banks, China Construction Bank is the worst, without a doubt. One year, when I bought a gold bar at a China Construction Bank branch in Guangzhou, I was told that the gold bar had to stay in the bank's custody, and once it left the bank, they would no longer buy it back. That's when I realized something was wrong. At the time, gold was only 360 to 370 yuan per gram. Remember this, if you don't open the bank's gold bar and return it for a repurchase at the original price, once you open it, it becomes worthless scrap metal. This kind of thing happened 20 years ago. Back then, buyers said the gold they had purchased could attract magnets. CCTV even produced a program where experts explained why gold could attract iron. Why would a state-owned bank like China Construction Bank dare to sell fake gold? Because it believes it has the backing of the system. Even if fraud is exposed, people still have to turn to another part of the same system, such as the police, to seek out help and expect the same system to judge the matter. The outcome is obvious. In another video circulating online, a person showed a friend an investment gold bar purchased from China Construction Bank for more than 10,000 yuan. He said he bought it together with his wife. After holding the bar, the friend immediately felt something was wrong and asked, "Are you sure you bought this from a bank? You're not joking, right?" The owner insisted that it was purchased from China Construction Bank and had never been touched since the day of purchase. He said the original plastic packaging had been discarded, but the gold bar itself had remained inside the plastic case. The friend suggested using fire to test its authenticity, saying that if the bar changed color after being heated, it would indicate that it was fake. He also warned that any damage caused by the test would be the owner's responsibility. Although hesitant at first, the owner agreed and requested that the entire process be recorded, saying the video could later serve as evidence if the item was proven fake. It could also help explain the situation to his wife. During testing, the outer layer of the metal bar gradually softened, bubbled, and cracked, showing clear signs that it was not made of pure gold. The friend then asked whether it was actually purchased gold or a promotional gift given by the bank during a financial product sale. The owner said it was genuine investment gold obtained when the bank converted a cash return from a financial product into gold for customers.
Okay, so we don't have to watch the whole video. The idea is you are buying coins. This is why I tell you what to buy. And they have to say, they do have a panda. Let's see if we can get the panda. Yeah, my phone gets slow, like recovering pages. It's crazy. Sorry, my phone is really slow for some reason. This is what it looks like. 1 ounce, 999, 100 yan panda. And that's what the back looks like. This is 1995. All right. So for my friends in Singapore and Pat, this is what you want to buy. If you buy that, you can't get fooled. It can't be counterfeit. To buy these bars from the bank and don't open them, you want to prove that they're real gold. And so if they say you can't take it or you got to leave it in the bank, you tell them to fuck off. I swear these Chinese people are the stupidest people I've ever seen. They get screwed on their mortgage, on their real estate with Evergrande and another one. Oh, we'll pay for a condo or a house, but we won't live in it. We'll pay for it before it's built. You guys, a bunch of idiots. We'll buy gold from the bank that's still sealed, but we can't test that if it's real gold. What are you doing? Go to the gold store. That's why you go to the gold store. You don't buy it from a bank. Even Costco, I'd question it. I'd bring a magnet and see if it's stuck. But I'm not buying gold from Costco. I'm buying it from my gold store because I know the gold store, it's legitimate. It's real. Not a problem. He tested it. You put a magnet to it, it doesn't stick. What were they saying? You put a magnet to it and it did stick. What the fuck was that? You got to know what you're doing. So if you're ever in China, I would expect you to buy something with a panda on it. Otherwise, you're going to get burned, and don't cry when you get burned because you're an idiot. You're buying something you don't know anything about. You know you want to buy gold, but you got to buy gold, actual gold. All right, let's check this out. So for my friends in Russia, so here's what a Russian coin is. I don't know if there's a state one. You see, it says CCCP. So this is like that. And then this is a CCCP 10 rubles or whatever. Let's look for a more current one. I love when I go, give me a Russian gold, and I get all these other ones that aren't Russian. That's UK. Why can't I get a Russian when I ask for Russian? That's what I hate about eBay. Just give me a fucking Russian gold. Here's a 2023 Russian gold, 1923 to 2023. And that's what it looks like. And it says, oh, I guess 999 there. Oh, AU 999. And whatever that means. So if it doesn't say the AU 999 in whatever language you're going to look at it, don't buy it. If you go to the bank, don't go to the bank. There should be coin stores, jewelry stores that sell gold. Make sure it says 999 AU, how many rubles or yuan or Indian gold, whatever it is. Make sure it says 999 on it. So all these people that got ripped off are idiots. They bought it from a bank without knowing what they were buying, without checking it. It was sealed in the plastic wrap, which is like Costco. So you got to be very careful buying from Costco. Why would you? You're buying Swiss gold from Costco. Maybe it says 999, maybe it doesn't. Versus going to the gold store where he's going to prove it to you. Say, oh, I want to make sure it's real. And I've shown you that. It'll say 999, you know, what I always do. So this is a neat one from Lancome. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is I don't know if this is a French 1 ouncer. I don't know what it is. 50 euro, very pretty coin. But where's the 999 on it? Right? Where's the 999 gold? So I would never buy this one. Even though it's probably gold, but I don't see 999 gold on it. So fuck off. So here's the maple leaf. Now we don't want it graded, but look what it says. Fine gold, 1 ounce of pure 9999. Canada. The guy didn't put a second picture in here. Wow. But anyway, you can see where it says fine gold, 1 ounce of pure 999. Okay, you're probably safe there. It's a maple leaf. That's what you want to buy. Normal coins that say it's gold. You do not ever want to buy from a bank that doesn't say 1 ounce of gold or a half ounce of gold or say gold pure 999 on it. If it doesn't say it, why would you buy it? So you can get burned later going, oh, I trusted the bank. Why would you trust the bank in China? China's very corrupt, but they're still kind of state run. Very clever China. And there's a lot of bullshit China and eBay. The guy selling silver for $25. Silver's what, 66 now. I wouldn't pay 25 for it because I know it's bullshit. Be careful buying from China. They're very, very corrupt. You cannot trust anything. Like I said, the only gold I would buy in China is a panda that says 1 ounce pure gold, whatever. But to tell you the truth, I would not want to buy one. I would buy from Kugran. I'd buy a maple leaf. The Philharmonics are in Austria. I would go there, be China. But I got to make sure it says gold on it. But it doesn't say gold on it, you're fucked. And then what are you going to do with it? Nobody's going to buy it from you. So you try to sell me one of these fake plastic gold. You know what my answer would be? Well, I don't know. It's gold. Let's take it out of there and let me put my magnet to it. And when the magnet would hold, I'd say it's fake. Very easy. So if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on gold, you got to make sure you're actually buying gold. So you're buying something with no value. All right. So I wanted to share that with you. All right, so here's another maple leaf, 999, fine gold, 1 ounce. Pretty sure you're going to be okay with that. And that's what it looks like. Queen Elizabeth, $50. So that's okay, but this is the part we need. It says fine gold. It says 1 ounce, so you know how much it is, and 999 pure. You'll be okay with that. In America, so here's the Cougaran, 1/4 ounce fine gold. That's what that looks like. It's sometimes they don't put the 999 on there. Sometimes they don't put the amount. Here's the US, random year. So he's saying it could be any year. And that's what it looks like on the back. 1 ounce fine gold, $50, and whatever the year is. And I think that's 999. Is that 999? No, in God we trust. So it's just 1 ounce of fine gold, $50. But at least it tells you it's 1 ounce of fine gold, and we know what it looks like here. That's the date 2011. So we know this is what it looks like, and we know it's got to say this, and then we're fine. Okay, I've actually bought gold, because you can't say 1 ounce of fine gold if it's copper. So be very careful. As these get more expensive, you're going to get more bullshit. That's why you go to a coin store that you've dealt with, that you know is legit, and you're fine with it. All right. Let's look at our baseball as gold's off today. It's headed toward the Shanghai Gold Exchange price, which will be a physical price. It's heading there very soon. We're just not there yet. All right, so let's look at yesterday's games. We start off with the Cubs 3, St. Louis nothing. We have the Cubs, a winner. Both your free plays won. We've got Cincinnati winning 1-0. Burns against Alcantara. Beautiful. That's what we expect when the Aces play, is a very low-scoring game, and that's exactly what we got. This Burns guy is very good. We make a lot of money on him. Our next play was Pitt over 8 again, and Pitt wins 8-4. Again, we didn't have great pitchers. So, again, we caught the Boston C team and the Pitt C team, not the Skeins team, and 8-4. That's a winner. Chicago 9, Detroit 5. I was very happy with that score, but we didn't play it because we didn't know who the pitchers were. And you can't bet a game without the pitchers. Baltimore 6, Tampa 5. We didn't play that. San Diego 7, Cleveland 5. We played Cleveland under 7.5. Again, a mystery score. We had good pitching, and you get a 7-5. The New York Mets 4, Washington 1. We don't play the Mets very often. Arizona 2, Atlanta nothing. This is your other free play. Atlanta under 8, 3 units. Chris Sale going against Fat, and look what happens. Fat wins 2-0. So we were smart not to play Sale. We were smarter to play the game under with 2 good pitchers, and we got a very low-scoring game, which is the value we got. We got good value in the pitchers. They're going to keep the game low scoring. The total in the game was 8 and an easy winner. So both your free plays were about the Aces, and they both came through 1-0 and 2-0. We have the Yankees. We lose. We have the Yankees 3-1. And why did we lose it? Who the hell was pitching? Garrett Cole against Shane Bieber, and Garrett Cole isn't ready yet, still recovering, I guess. And Shane Bieber, who's not great, but New York doesn't have hitting. So the Yankees are pretty much an under team now until Judge gets back. So we lose the Yankees. Houston 10, Seattle 7. We play Houston and win 10-7. We had Jack Lambert on the mound, and Jack just keeps coming through for us. See, that's what we do. We find Jack Lambert. We find Burns on Cincinnati. We find Sandy Alcantara. We found the other guy, whoever, Atlanta, Fat. That's what we do. We find it. That's what we have to know what we're looking for to find it. And most people don't know what they're looking for to find it. We're looking for the good pitchers, and then we go, oh, we're going to bet it. We're betting Houston because of Lambert. He didn't have a good game. They won 10-7, but we'll take it. And we noticed Houston scored. KC over 8, we win. They win 7-6 against California. 2 very weak pitchers. Oakland over 10, which was really over 8.5. I put 10 because we didn't have a number, and they win 8-3. So we win Oakland over 8. And our last game was the 49ers. The Dodgers beat Milwaukee 3-1, which we were scared of. So we ignored the game, and it looks like they're going to be playing low scores, especially once Mr. Roxy gets there. And San Francisco, we win over 7.5, and it's 5-3 Colorado. So we win that game. So overall, 1, 2, 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 8-2 yesterday. And let's see, we're up 4 units, 6 units, 4, 2, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14 units. Jesus Christ, I'm just killing it. I'm getting in shape for football. But it's, again, understanding the value, knowing what to look for. Most people are looking at the teams. I'm looking at the pitcher. The pitcher's key. All right, let's go to 8:15. I hate turning the page. Hopefully it won't change our luck. And 8:15 is today's games. That's why you bet so money. We got Chris Sale going against Alcantara. That's a bet. We have Burns going. That's a bet. We have Jack Lambert going. We had Cole going. So you have all these teams. It's not uncommon to make 8 or 9 bets if you have 8 or 9 plays. We know we're going to win most of them, which is what we do. That's the same thing in football. So if I give you a lot of games, I expect you to bet small. The total might be 100. If I give you 10 games, it's $10 a game. And you're going to win 7 out of the 10, and you'll make $40, and off you go, and something like that. I know there's juice. That's not what we're into. One guy yelled at me because I wasn't counting juice on my units. So that's not the point. The point is adding it up. I'm not looking at the juice. It's not even about how much I'm winning. It's the units that tell you how much to bet on the games is what my thing is. It's not, I'm just keeping score. I'm saying I'm up, $20,000. It's yeah, there's juice, and yeah, it's maybe 17,000. That's not the point. The point is to give you different units and bet it, and you win on it, and you are. So some people I don't get. All right. The White Sox, Detroit, Chicago with a 3.5 game lead over Detroit. So this is for, kind of first place. We get Detroit 135, 7.5. K against Melton. K with the 396. We were betting K earlier in the year from UConn. K is 4-1 his last 5, playing very well. His last 6 pitching, gave up 2 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs, 3, 0, and 2. He's been pretty good. Really, he had one bad outing. He gave up 5 runs. But otherwise, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 0, 2. I don't think the Tigers will hit him very well. and he's a lefty. And again, the Tigers brought up a lot of their minor leaguers because that's how bad their team is. I mean, the team, you can replace your starter with a minor leaguer, tells you a lot about how bad the team is. And again, no leadership. The manager's terrible. The GM, the Scott Harris, is an idiot. The owner doesn't want to spend. So let's look at this Melton for Detroit. Troy Melton, San Diego State. As soon as he gets good, he'll want to negotiate his contract. They'll let him go. I don't really get the strategy of the Tigers. They're not playing to win. They're playing it cheap. We'll just keep bringing in new guys, and as soon as they get good, we'll trade them. This Melton is 9-1 his last 10. And his last 6, he's 1 run, 2-0-0-1. All right, so we're going to play Detroit because Melton's hot. He pitches well. I'm just going to go 2 units because I know I don't trust Detroit. They won't hit K very well. It'll probably be a 3-0 game. The total on the game is 7.5. But I don't think Chicago, it gets down to the bullpen. Chicago won't hit. But we'll get down to the bullpen. All right. Not that K's bad, but I don't think K's good enough to keep the game under. Probably will be an under because I'm sure Detroit won't hit K. And it looks like the White Sox won't hit Melton. Let's see. Is this Melton's first year? No, he played for the Tigers last year, although I don't remember him. 16 games. He only started 4 with a 2.76 ERA. This year he started 13 with the 1.46 ERA. So strange they don't play him. I find the management and the Tigers, the manager is terrible. All right. That is a 110 game. It is 12:05. You have an hour. So take Detroit. Just 2 units. We don't trust them. St. Louis and the Cubbies at Chicago. Cubs 181-9. McGreevy against Boyd. This is a pretty good matchup. McGreevy is 4-2 his last 6. His last 4 have been over. His last 6, 1 run, 2 runs, 4, 7, 2, and 3. The 7 was in an inning and 2/3, followed up with the 4-inning, 2-run, 5-inning, 3-run. So he's giving up runs. Matthew Boyd. See, used to be on the Tigers. Pretty good pitcher. But notice how they get rid of him so they don't have to pay him. And he's 9-1 his last 10. Holy shit. 2, 4, 6, 4, 1, 1, 0, 5, and 2. And I think McGreevy, yeah, he was 4-2 his last 6. Okay. All right, that is at 2:20, and now we get to the later. Good game here. The Yankees at Toronto. Steve Schittler going for the Yanks, 2.22 ERA, up a little bit. He had a bad game last game against Bobby Fischer from Chess with a 1.12. The Yankees are 171-7, and my guess is Fisher is a bullpen guy. Let's see, Schittler. Schittler's lost 3 in a row. He's 1-4 his last 5. 2 runs, 3 runs, shutout, 1 run, 4 runs, run. They're just not hitting for Schittler. Not that he's pitching bad. Brandon Fisher, or Bobby Fisher as we call him. The Bobber is a bullpen guy, just as we thought. So we don't think the Yankees will hit that much. Bobby Fischer pitches the first inning, and he's done. All right. Colorado plays the Niners, and the Niners 162 and 7.5. Colorado won yesterday. Lorenzen with the 6.89 goes against Logan Webb with the 3.59. Lorenzen 1-4 his last 5, 2, 4, 6. 3 runs, 1, 6, 3, 7, 4. So he gives up some runs. Logan Webb, the Loger, L Webb, 3-1 his last 4. Gave up 5 runs, 3 runs, 4, 2, 0, and 1. So he's pitching okay, not winning. 7.5. That's crazy. That's very low for Lorenzen with the 6.890 ERA. Gives up 4 or 5 runs a game, and Webb is not exactly Nolan Ryan. The game's in Frisco. I don't know. There's a wind issue on the ocean there, so 7.5 is. See, that's where the value is wrong. So as we talked value earlier, the value of this game, the value of the pitchers does not induce a 7.5 score. There's no way this is 4-3. This is a much higher scoring game because the value of the pitchers are bad and they will give up more runs than that. They could give up 7 by themselves. Washington at the JETSs. The Jets 134 and 8. We got Bruce Lord 180 against Joe Namath, the 354. Joe's coming back pitching for the Jets. We wear green today, Joe. I always love that comment. Joe, today we're wearing green. Throw to us, not to them. Brad Lord is 3-1 his last 4, but not really. He's a bullpen guy. Okay. Sean Manaea is going to go in against Joe Namath. And Manaea is 3-2 his last 5. His last 6 games, 3 runs, 4 runs, 1, 2, 2, 1. So Manaea's pitching better. Washington, we don't know. We've got a bullpen guy who goes 1 inning a game. So I am not going to try to analyze the bullpen effect. Not that I couldn't, and not that we couldn't be successful at it, but I don't have the interest. There's enough meat on the bone to play that. Tampa Bay, Baltimore's at Tampa. Tampa 145, 7.5. Tampa 74 and 47. Jesus Christ. The best team we've never heard of. Bradish for Baltimore, 369 against Jane Seymour with the 450. Kyle Bradish. He's 3-2 his last 4, 3-4 his last 7. His last 6 games, 3 runs, 1, 5, 2, and 2. Not bad. Gave up the 5, but otherwise, that's it. If I go all 10, it's 5, 1, 0, 4, 3, 1, 1, 5, 2, 2. Pretty much in control, pretty much low scoring. Tampa does not hit. Jane Seymour, she went to Virginia Tech. He's won his last 3, and then he's 3-3 his last 6. 2, 4, 6. 6 runs, 3, 2, 0, 2, and 1. So he's pitched well his last 4 or 5 games. He's either also, let's say, this actually could go under 7.5. Both pitchers are pitching pretty well, and Tampa's got good bullpen. I'm not going to play it because I don't trust it, but I think it's an under. Let the buyer beware on this one. Miami goes to Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's 106.95. Burns 1-4 yesterday, 1-0. against Sandy Alcantara. So here's Gusto against Brady Singer. Gusto with the 508. The Guster. And he's 2-2. And then he goes to 2 he's 2-6 his last 8. So the Guster is not that good. A lot of relievers, 2 innings, 2 runs, 2 innings shutout, 3 innings, 1, 5 innings, 6, 6 innings, 1, 4 innings, 2. So one of these guys that he doesn't know if he's a bullpen guy or a starter. Against Brady Singer, we know is a starter. The Brader from Florida, the Gator. And he's 2-3 his last 5. Notice how they're all kind of 2-3, 3-2. They're all kind of hit and miss, win some, lose some. Last 6 games, 1 run, 2, 3, 4, 3, and 3. So it's been 3, 4, 3, 3 his last 4. Not good. I have no idea here. I'm gonna lay that. This is there's no value in making this bet. I don't know what I'm getting with Brady Singer. I don't know what I'm getting with Gusto. They're both like 4.69 and 5 ERA. Total on the game's 9.5. I can't bet Cincinnati. You can't bet Miami, and I don't trust the total. Maybe it's an over. I don't know. San Diego and Cleveland. Cleveland's choking away. They're 59-64. Cleveland 114, 8.5. This is because Cleveland still doesn't have any hitting. At least Pittsburgh didn't hit last year, got hitters. Cleveland still can't hit. Peralta for San Diego with a 0 ERA and Cantillo with a 3.93 for Cleveland. Again, Cleveland's a 114, 8.5. Judging by yesterday, possibly an over. And we got Peralta 2-3 for for San Diego. 2-3 his last 5. And he's a bullpen guy, so ignore that. Cantillo 3.93 from Hawaii. And he's 1-4 his last 5. 2, 4, 6, 1 run, 4, 5, 0, 5, 1 run in 1 inning against the. Well, he didn't even pitch against the Tigers. So he goes 1 inning, 31 pitches. What is this guy, a pig? But Peralta's a bullpen guy. It's hard to go over with Cleveland because they don't hit. I do think this goes over, but I'm not gonna. I don't see the value in 8.5. I can't bet Cantillo. Peralta's a bullpen guy. All right. Seattle goes to Houston. Earl Campbell's going to play tonight. Houston minus 128.5. They won with Jack Lambert yesterday, 10-7. So it was a high-scoring game. Hancock, 3.35 for Seattle. Wisniewski, 4.0 for Houston. Looks like a high-scoring game based on yesterday. John Hancock lost his last 4. And let's see, his last 6. Shutout, 2-3-4-2. Wisniewski sounds like a bullpen guy. Maybe not. No, he's a starter. 3 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs. But he just pitched 3 games. He's won them all and gave up some runs. Gets Greg Hancock. John Hancock, I mean. So this is where I'm kind of looking at yesterday's. And I see the pitchers, and I'm going, okay, yeah, they scored a lot yesterday, so they're hitting. It's like the Yankees aren't. Philadelphia, Minnesota. Aha. All right, here you go. Here's your second free play. Take Philadelphia. Jesus is on the mound, and Jesus always wins. How can you bet against Jesus? Against Prelap for Minnesota, who's not very good. So Jesus, 334 here, right? Prelap 483. Let's take a quick look at Prelap, but we know he's not. Yeah, he's 3-2, 3-5 his last 8. Goes 5 innings, 6 runs, 2-3, 1-3-3. Philly should have a good time beating them up. Games in Minnesota. So again, we're betting the pitcher. He gives us a lot of value, Jesus. He wins a lot. Boston and Pittsburgh, good game here. Boston 119, 7.5 at Pitt. Sonny Gray 281 against Jeffrey Jones 503 from Ferris Bueller. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 7-2 his last 9. The center. 1 run, 5-4 shutout, and 2 runs. Jeffrey Jones, or Jared Jones, as he likes to be called. I would have preferred Jeffrey. This guy lost his last 4, and he is a. So his last 6, he's shutout 1-1, 3-3-8. All right. The total is 7.5. Sonny Gray pitches pretty good. Jones has pitched good in his last few games, has not pitched good. So hard to go under with Pittsburgh and their hitting. And the game of the day, Milwaukee at the Dodgers. The Miz going. Milwaukee 121, 7.5. Mizorowski with the 1.76 ERA against Robleski with the 3.34. Well, we don't have to look at Mizorowski. Let's look at Robleski. He's lost his last 3. He's 1-4 his last 5, and he gives up last 6. 3 runs, 1-1, 5.74. All right, here's your lock, Milwaukee. We're going to go 5 units. It's going to be a lock on Mizorowski. We're getting value because he's facing Robleski. Shotani is nowhere to be seen. He's injured. He can't pitch. Basically a crybaby. I'm surprised he's not throwing salt in the batter's eyes or the umpire's eyes. Would have made sense. So your third free play, you got Detroit. We've got Philadelphia, Jesus on the mound, Milton on the mound for Detroit, Robleski on the mound for Milwaukee. And Milwaukee should hit Robleski. Milwaukee, they were down 4-2 the first game of the series, and they scored 3 runs in the 9th to win 5-4. They are very good hitting. All right. Arizona at Atlanta. Another good game. Atlanta 128-9. E. Rodriguez 271 against Grant Holmes 360. We had the lock under on this game yesterday, and it won. And let's see. So there was no scoring in the game with the aces going at it. Here, Eduardo Rodriguez is 5-1 his last 6. There we go. And then it's like gave up 2 runs, 5, 2, 0, 7, and 2. So a 5 and a 7. You hope that doesn't pop out against Grant Holmes. The Granter, the Big G is, wow, he's won his last 2, 4, 7 games, and he is a starter. Wow. 2, 4, 6, 0, 3, 3, 3, 0, 0. Grant Holmes is on fire. KC goes to California. California 158.5. Dobnik, I believe he's pretty good. 208 against Detmers with the 4 for California. Dobnik's got the beard. Yeah, this is the Dauber. I'm sure he had a lot of friends in high school. He's pitched in 7 games, and he is 3-4. And his 7 starts, 2 runs, 0-1, 0-0-1, and 4 last time, and a loss to the Cubbies. So he's been pretty good, and he's got a 2.08 ERA. California's not going to hit him, but if Detmers is any good, it's an under bet. Let's see how Detmers is. And Detmers lost his last 2, 4, 6, 7, and they've been under. Detmers 2, 4, 6, 5 runs on 0, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, I've already given you my limit of 3 free plays. You got to buy for something, right? Okay. Texas at Oakland. This is the last game. Mackenzie Gore goes against Jin, who almost had the no-hitter. So he had one good game all year where he almost had a no-hitter. Texas minus 150, 9.5. Gore against Jin. Gore, how have you been pitching? He's 5-1 his last 6. He won his last 2. 1 run, 5.3301 in about 6-7 innings. So pretty good. Jin from Old Mississippi State is 2-1 his last 3, 2-3 his last 5. His last 6, 1 run, 2 runs, 8-0-3 and 3. So not terribly bad. I got enough on my plate. I'm not going to play it. So your free play, Detroit, which starts soon. Philadelphia and Milwaukee. And that's Mizorowski. So don't miss out on that. Detroit's 110, and then the rest are later. So I think, let's see, Philadelphia, I think it's the night game. Philadelphia is 710. And Mizorowski 7:15. That must be a night. That must be on TV because it's in LA and they're showing it there. Now this is a game. If they have any brains in their head, which I don't think, then why isn't Mizorowski on regular TV? I don't get baseball not wanting to show their games. It's the same thing with preseason football. There always would be a game on Fox or CBS, a Saturday night game or a Sunday afternoon game, just to give you the feature. And all these games are on like NFL or NFL Plus or any of these. You just don't understand it. This is a fresh avocado. I can't get the meat out. It's like stuff. I'll have to dig into it later. It's like a coconut, like trying to get the damn meat out of it. But why aren't they on TV? If you want to, to make people pay to buy it, are we getting value out of it? So today's lesson's on value, obviously. Are we getting the value? Did I get value out of eating my pita bread? Yeah. My avocado? Yeah. So is baseball getting value not showing the games on TV? Because I don't consider showing it on Bet 365 or some of these, FanDuel as, first of all, it's ridiculous to put them on gambling sites, but you expect me to pay to watch the Tigers on FanDuel? You're missing the whole point. You want me to watch the game to get interest in it. That's why I do this. If I didn't do this, you would have no value in me. You certainly, if I don't do this, you can't watch me, get my ideas and everything. What's baseball doing? What's football doing with preseason? the NFL network. Nobody's going to buy the NFL network to watch preseason games. They've got to be free. You're trying to produce and market your product, which you're not doing. It's very strange. The Detroit TV hosts, these Heckle and Jekyll guys, are poo-pooing preseason. And it's like, oh, do you watch preseason? They're making fun of the people who watch it. And you're like, what a bunch of idiots. Preseason is very valuable when you look at it. Let's go look at preseason now. So we'll recap yesterday, and then we'll get to today's games. I think. Oh, I got to go to preseason. All right. Let's look at yesterday. There was 3 games. So Tampa Bay beat JETS's 24-16. Again, how the fuck was the Jets favored in the game? That's my whole point. So let's look at the box score. We gained valuable information on the preseason. And we look at player stats. Tampa Bay, Bazelak, 12 of 20 for 72 yards. This guy was on like Miami of Ohio or something. Against the other Jalen Daniels, the guy from Kansas, who I thought was getting better, 10 of 15, 111 yards. I don't recognize the running backs or the receivers. So I'm just ignoring that. The JETS's 3 quarterbacks, Brady Cook from Missouri, 9 of 15, 108 yards. Bailey Zappi, we know, 6 of 10, 55 yards, 2 picks. And Cade Klubenak, who sucks out of Clemson, 5 out of 7, 56 yards. Why is he even there? The guy stinks. Why do you draft Klubenak? Why do you play him? It's like San Diego playing Uglia Buglia. Are you seriously thinking if you put him in a game, you're going to have a chance to win the game? He's an emergency quarterback. I mean, you got to be kidding me. And Trey Lance is the other one for San Diego. So nothing really here. I assume, well, I know it's Smith, I think, will be the starter. Brady Cook is the best of the 3. Zappi at least has played. He's looked okay. And Klubnik stinks. So not a lot there. Denver 27-7 over Atlanta. We had a 97-yard interception return by Barron. Denver Stidham, 9 of 15, 131 yards, a touchdown. Ellinger from Texas, 10 of 14, 67 yards. And I don't recognize the running backs. Atlanta, Cooper Rush, Central Michigan, 7 of 19, 62 yards, 2 interceptions, including that big 95-yard interception for a touchdown. A guy named Strand, 6 of 12, 50. And Tagliavua, 3 of 5 for 22 yards, throwing behind the line of scrimmage and to the running backs. Typical Tagliavua. So Atlanta, if Tagliavua is the starter, is just we're going to bet him under. Pretty good defense. They're just going to run Bijan Robinson. And if you related on Tagliavua to do anything, you're fucked. Robinson did carry the ball 2 times for 6 yards. So it's good to get him out there. And I don't see any. Kyle Pitts, 3 catches, 22 yards. Tagliavoa, he's so bad. I can't believe anybody would have picked him up. And then here's Daggio Papa. So you're going to go with Tagliavoa, who stinks, against Daggio Papa, who's probably be one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, and nobody's picking him up, not even as a free agent. Nobody's even looking at this guy. Baltimore let him go because they have Lamar and Huntley. Why did they pick him up in the first place? And their last game, Miami, Washington 20-7 over Miami. And again, here we go. Miami was a 3.5-point road favorite. And again, Miami can't win a game more or less going to be a road favorite. So even though it's preseason, the bet would have been bet against Miami as a road favorite and bet against these other teams as road favorites. It's the same mentality. Miami, C. Miller, 3 of 11, 39 yards, 2 picks. Quentin Ewers from Texas, 1 of 8, 1 interception. And Malik Willis, 4 of 5 for 43. So you got a problem in Miami. Willis is not that good. Akneen played 7 rushes, 39 yards. And Ollie Gordon from Oak State, who we loved, and now he's not any good, 7 of 39. So the running backs played for Miami. I can't recognize their things. Washington. Sam Hartman, my guys, 8 of 15, 80 yards, 1 interception. Kella Kamanis from Minnesota, 6 of 10, 87 yards. And Marcus Mariota, 1 of 2, 22. If they don't have Daniels, they're in big trouble because they got nothing here. No real running, and I don't know receiving. So that was yesterday's preseason. So Washington home dog wins because Miami can never be a road favorite. Denver kills Atlanta because Denver's well coached, and Tampa Bay beats the Jets's 24-6. Again, how can the Jets be a 5.5-point favorite over UCLA? I would take UCLA. You've got to be kidding me. The Jets have no coach. They have no offense. They have no defense. How can they possibly be a favorite? Tennessee, 6.5 over the Niners. The Niners won. Tennessee won 19-13. They didn't play anybody. San Diego, 1-point favorite. We like the under in the Houston game. It was 37.5. The score is 34. Oakland was a 3-point favorite. How can they be favored? And they did play Mendoza. Indy, New England tied 3-3. Indy was a road favorite again, even if it's preseason. Pitt 28-9 over Green Bay, and Green Bay was a 3-point favorite at Pitt. All right, today we've got 8 games today. No, 7. We got Cleveland at the Bears. At the Bears. Cleveland is 3-point favorite at Chicago. I love Chicago here. Getting 9 at home. The coach wants to win. He's not going to just lay down. I don't know if Caleb will play or not, but what's Prime Jr. going to do? 3 interceptions? If he plays anytime, and then you got my guy Dylan Gabriel. He might give us something, but you got to take the Bears and 9 in this game as a home dog from Cleveland without Myles Garrett. Oh, okay. Who in their right mind would take Cleveland and lay points? Minnesota is 141.5 at the Giants. I got a feeling the Giants win. You'll see too much J.J. McCarthy, who's terrible. I doubt Jefferson will play. I doubt Scatterboo plays. Dart needs to play the whole game. He needs to work. We'll see. The Giants with the pretty good defense will show up. Minnesota, good defense. This would be a good under game in the regular season. But we'll see how Kyler Murray does. He should play at least the series. Carolina, Buffalo. Buffalo is 3. 39 at home to Carolina. We'll see what happens here. Game of the day. Kansas City 1.5, 35.5 to the Rams. The game is in KC. This is an interesting one. You know, Mahomes is going to play. I don't think Stafford will. But Mahomes will play. He plays in the preseason. He'll play a series, maybe two. He's got to get used to his new receivers. I do not think you'll see Kenneth Walker playing. He doesn't need that. It's different as a running back. But we'll see. But a very good regular season game. Could be your Super Bowl. I love how people all of a sudden like Buffalo with Josh Allen. Like all of a sudden they're good. No, you still don't have a defense. You got a new coach who's an offensive coach. They don't need help on their offense. We got New Orleans 2.5, 34.5 against Jacksonville, which should be a good game. I'm curious to see the backup quarterbacks for New Orleans. Tyler Shaw probably should play. We'll see what Kellen Moore does. Jacksonville, I don't know how they scored 37 a game last year, or 30-something a game. Second game of the day, Philadelphia goes to Baltimore. Philly is a 3-point favorite, 3.5-point favorite, 36.5 at Baltimore. I kind of like Baltimore here because I think Huntley will play, and Hurts is terrible anyway. I don't know who their backup is. You know, Barkley's not going to play, and neither will Henry, but I just like Huntley. Maybe he gets a quarter in. And Dallas, Seattle 3, 37.5 without Kenneth Walker. They're in for a bad year. See, you're changing the value here, right? Kenneth Walker gave you value because he gave you balance. He's your running back, gives you balance. You take him out of there, now you expose Darnell to being Darnell, who stinks. The Darnell you saw against the Lions and against the Rams fall apart, throw 5 interceptions. That's the Darnell you're getting. Now with Kenneth Walker, you didn't get him. He could hand the ball off. The defense had to play softer for the run. Darnell excelled. He doesn't have that. He has Zach Charbonnet from Michigan and UCLA, who's pretty good. He's not Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker was just a beast, right? He was like the guy in Seattle, the beast. I can't think of his name. But anyway, that's what you have. So you have this problem with Seattle, back to Darnell and the real Darnell. And that's going to be a problem. Dallas, no defense. They drafted a lot of defense. I don't know their defensive coordinator or their coaches, but they're in big dog doo-doo. Any team with a big defense, with a bad defense, 30 defense, you're in trouble. So let's look at that. Now, next Saturday, I will post the college games for the 25th. So if you're going to buy, I would say by then. I already had a buyer. Please use, if you're doing PayPal, use friends and family, please. All right, so let's look at this. Let's just look at the defense. So New England was a 9 defense the last 5 games of the year, playing Seattle, who CJ Stroud stinks, and then they did give up a lot of points to Denver. But before that, they played nobody. So it's skewed with New England and Buffalo because they're playing Miami and the Jets 4 times with no offense at all and no defense. So those games are all skewed. The Niners a 24 defense, the Rams a 26. But we know the Rams will be in the teens with, Myles Garrett and probably Darnold, maybe not back week 1, but Maybe he comes back week 5 or 6. They don't need him week 1. He'll be more late in the year in playoffs. You want a healthy Aaron Donald. Tampa Bay at 23, Cincinnati at 24. Cincinnati gets rid of Hendrickson, who was a cancer anyway. Not a very good player, not a very good teammate, just faked injuries, didn't play, and good riddance. Now Baltimore gets that crap, and maybe that'll help Cincinnati let Joe Burrow be the leader. But look for Cincinnati to be better than 24 this year. If they get under 20, they'll be in the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow and Chase. Tampa Bay at 23. They got to replace Mike Evans. We'll see what the Baker does. New Orleans, Tampa. Now, New Orleans, 18 defense. Detroit with the 28. So we got to see if the New Orleans defense is this 18. If they are, look out. They have a pretty good offense, Kamara and Olave and Kellen Moore. So they will be very good with an 18 defense if it's real. Detroit with their 28 will, again, score a lot, give up a lot. And maybe they'll be lucky if they win 9 games, even with the 4th place schedule, because in the own division, it's the Bears twice, mini with Kyler Murray, and the Packers and Micah Parsons. So that's 6 losses right off the bat. You got 17 games, 11. So maybe you go 6-5. You got 5 bullshit high school games because you've got the last place schedule, which is a joke. So they get Arizona and some bad teams. But that's the only way the Lions can win is the weak schedule. The Jets's with the 38 defense, what can I say? They're the worst team in football. Tennessee, a 30 defense. Shala went there. Maybe their defense gets a little bit better, although the Jets didn't really do much when he was there. I don't know why he's chasing a head coaching job. He's clearly a good defensive coordinator, not a head coach. So I don't know what he's doing. Baltimore, 21 defense. Indy, a 30. So that's what's killing Indy. When you don't know what the team is, you go to their defense. And again, we go last 5. We don't care about the whole. We're in week 10. I don't care about week 1 through week 10. I care about week 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, or 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That gives you a true how are they playing, check your injuries, things like that. And a lot of it comes from their offense. The offense is running the ball. The defense is well rested. They're going to play better. If you have a good quarterback, the defense will rise going, if we get a stop from Mahomes, he'll win us the game. You got a bad quarterback, you're not going to do that. So we'll see. Daniel Jones against Lamar, 2 bad quarterbacks. Baltimore, we'll see. And they're with Henry running, keeps the scores lower because they're eating clock. Indy, it's all Jonathan Taylor. That's all they got. Atlanta, a 25 defense. If they have Penix, they have a chance. With Tagliabue, they have no chance. But they'll be unders because Tag won't get any points. And Pittsburgh was a 21, but with McCarthy, what are they going to do? The coaches changed the value, so are they going to be that strong defensively? We'll have to keep an eye on it. Chicago, Carolina, they're both 22 defenses. Chicago's looks to get better a lot, as also they run the ball a lot, keep it out of Caleb's hands. And Steve Young for Carolina, but he's not too small at 5'10", but Daggio is, which makes no sense. The way Haynes King looked, I would be starting Haynes King ahead of Steve Young every game. If I want to win, I guess they don't want to win. They had a 22 defense. We'll see what happens there. Cleveland, a 22 defense, is going to be 25 or 26 without Myles Garrett, without a quarterback. We'll see what Deshaun Watson does. Can they run the ball? Jacksonville, a 17 defense, which I still don't believe. I got to see who they play that Buffalo, I think, put up with upper 30s in the playoff game. That's the Jacksonville defense I'm used to seeing. But we'll see. I mean, again, they play Indy and Tennessee. That's 4 wins, and Houston doesn't score. So you played 6 games against teams with no offenses, and you had a 17 defense. So not sure. But we'll keep an eye on them. They did get better last year, so let's look at the value. Buffalo, 19 defense against Houston and 18. Houston with the best defense in the league. Buffalo is probably in the mid-20s. We'll see what happens. A lot of Buffalo's problems is Josh Allen throwing the ball and taking these long runs and scoring quickly, and you don't rest your defense. Houston doesn't have those problems. C.J. Stroud can't score touchdowns, and they want to run the ball to rest their defense. They have the best defense, so you bet Houston under a lot. You just can't trust C.J. Stroud to win the games for you. Miami and Oakland, this is crazy. Miami at 28 defense, Oakland at 25. We know Crosby's got a bad knee, couldn't make the physical of Baltimore. So what's Oakland going to look like? Mendoza, he's in over his head right now. Maybe he proves something, but I didn't see it at Cal, and I'm not sure I saw it at Indy. I did see him throw some interceptions against Penn State. That I saw. He beat Ohio State 13-10. That I saw. And then against Miami, he ran one in. I saw that, but I'm not sold on him. Willis for Miami is nothing. All right, he knew the Green Bay playbook, and Green Bay has good offense. He sucked at Tennessee. Miami has no offense, so I'm not counting on him. But it's the Miami 28 defense, the Oakland 25 defense that we're looking at. Green Bay, Minnesota. Green Bay at 27 defense without Micah Parsons. Minnesota with a 10. So keep that in mind. With Kyler Murray throwing to Jefferson, Minnesota should win the Central with the Bears, those two. So we'll see. Detroit struggled with Minnesota's defense. They'll struggle with the Bear defense. And if Micah Parsons plays, they will struggle with Green Bay. Now, he's due in October. So let's see when he gets back. Then it's a totally different Green Bay team. The value jumps up with Micah Parsons. So, again, without him, they're an over. With him, they're more of an A team or a B team. Washington against Philly. Washington, a 26 defense. Philly, the 15. But Daniels is, I believe, back. So they turned into an over team because they're going to score in the 25-30 range with Jalen Daniels. And Jalen Hurts, he's terrible. And without A.J. Brown now, it's going to be a lot of Barkley. So it should be a lot of unders because they got the Georgia defense without a Georgia offense. So we'll see. I don't know who their backup is. I don't think we saw Philadelphia. Let me see. Did Philly had to play, right? Philly may be playing. Oh, yeah, they played Baltimore. Okay, we'll find that out tonight when they play Baltimore. So we'll see. Hurts just is terrible. Arizona at San Diego. We got Brissett. We got Minshew, and we've got Carson Beck for Arizona. We'll see. They got a 37 defense. So they drafted Jeremiah Love in one of the stupidest drafts I've ever seen. You need defense. You have a 37 defense. You're not winning shit with that against San Diego with an 18 defense, and their offense thinks they're an 18 offense. Part of it is they played Denver twice. They played KC, teams with good defenses. Even the Oakland, the Raiders had a decent defense. So we'll see what they have, but you're looking at You know, San Diego's defense should stay pretty good. It's Arizona's problem. Dallas, the Giants. Dallas's problem, a 34 defense. The Giants, a 21. Look for the Giants to be better. Dart, you need a better quarterback than Dart. Scadaboo's good. Neighbors, if he's out, let him go. Neighbors is not adding value to the team. He was great. He suffers his knee injury. He's done. Get rid of him. Bring in somebody who's healthy. Scadaboo broke his ankle, but I think he'll be able to recover that. But Dallas, great offense, no defense. Dart, terrible quarterback, too many concussions. We'll see. But again, a 21 defense for the Giants, 34 for Dallas. That's going to be their problem. And then Denver, KC, two good defenses here. Denver 21, KC a 19. Nixon, Mahomes. Denver 34-3 in a teaser. When you're looking for somebody to bet, you bet Denver. They're a live dog week 1 against KC. And they got a 21 defense, which will probably get better as Bo Nix gets better, long drives. And that'll eat the clock, which will make the games low scoring. We're really looking for running teams. We're looking for balance. New England, they can run. Seattle can't run anymore. The Niners got McCaffrey. The Rams got a pretty good runner. Tampa, I don't know. Cincinnati, I don't know. New Orleans, Kamara. Detroit, Gibbs. Detroit has a new offensive coordinator. He's terrible. Going to be a problem. Why would you get a guy from Arizona? What in God's name are you thinking? Why would you have let Ben Johnson go? Didn't you realize how good he was? Not only that, you should have signed him as the head coach. So you have talent you don't even look at. You don't even know your own talent. You give too much, what's the word? Too much responsibility to Dan Campbell. He doesn't deserve it. Didn't earn it. The only reason they were good is Ben Johnson. He took over at the end of the first year, and they won that 7-8 games. Then they had the big second year, and the big third year was Ben Johnson. And he goes, you don't even make the playoffs. And he left you with the Washington, and he fucked you because he said, you didn't hire me, go fuck yourself. And he called these strange plays against Washington to lose the game. You should have hired Ben Johnson. You've got the wrong coach. Way to go, GM. Buddies, but they both suck. Let's see. The Jets, no running backs. Tennessee, I don't think they have a running back. Baltimore's got Henry. Indy's got Taylor. Atlanta's got Robinson. Pitt, I don't know. I think they have one. The Bears have some good running. They're a good running team. Carolina, I'm not sure of. Cleveland, I don't know what they got. Jacksonville, they lost to Entenine. I don't know where Entenine went. We'll find that out. Buffalo, I do like the running back from Georgia. Houston, I don't know that they have a running back or he's always hurt. Miami's got Acme, who's good. Oakland got Gentry, who's very good. Green Bay, that guy from Alabama, Jacobs, I think that's good. Minnesota, I think they have a running back. Washington has some that are like second-rate running backs. Philadelphia with Barkley. Arizona, they need a running back. San Diego, they need a running back. Don't tell me Mario Hampton's going to be good when he sucked last year. Maybe he will be good. I didn't see it at North Carolina. Just like I didn't see Drake May was any good there either. So I don't know where these people are coming up with this shit. Dallas, you don't have Eminem anymore. You don't have whatchamacallit from Ohio State. So I don't know. The Giants have Scadaboo, very good running back. Denver, they got the kid from Notre Dame. And Kansas City now has the best running back in the league, Kenneth Walker, to go with Mahomes, and they're the Super Bowl favorite. Great defense, Spagnuolo, Mahomes, and Kenneth Walker. How do you let Walker walk away? What are you thinking? Seattle, didn't you like winning the Super Bowl? Because you ain't going to win it this year. I think it's Kansas City and Denver against the Rams, and maybe Philly gets better with Hurts. Maybe the Vikings with Kyler Murray, or Green Bay with Micah Parsons. The Bears, maybe, although I don't see them getting to the Super Bowl with Caleb. So we'll see. It's amazing. Everybody looks at Caleb on the pass, but that tied the game up. And the question is, why were they behind late in the quarter? And then in overtime, he throws an interception. So at what point did Caleb win the game? He did. They lost. They lost the home game to the Rams. They kept them from the championship. I don't know why Caleb is. Because he threw a miracle pass that the cornerback kind of lost the guy and came up, and then the guy was open when he should never have been open. What was the cornerback smoking that he came up to the front pylon instead of staying with the receiver? I don't know. On a 50-yard pass that he could have had a hot dog and a beer and still made the play. So we watched. Now, this is last year's defense. Do we think Philly's still good? Yeah, they got the Georgia boys. Baltimore, I don't know. They're slipping. Buffalo, no defense. KC, yes. Denver, of course, will have a good defense. Seattle, they lost a lot of free agents, but they should have a good defense. I like their coach from a defensive standpoint. The Niners, we'll see, because they got to replace Salah. The Rams will have a good defense with Myles Garrett, and if Darnold comes back, look out. He will. He'll probably be week 4 or 5 or something. As always, we're looking for value in the line. So once we've deciphered the teams and we figured out good offense, good defense, good running, good quarterback, the coach is okay, a.k.a. Denver, then we know what the value is. Here, Denver's a dog. Week 1, they're too good to be a dog. You get 9 in a teaser. That's the beauty of teasers. 3 you don't know about, but 9 you're like just smiling, going, "Wow, I get 9 in Denver. Wow, thank you, God. May I have another?" And that's what you're looking at. And we're doing the same in college. We're able to problem solve the Ohio States and the Indianas, going, "Well, they'll be fine. I know what I'm getting with them." It's the North Texas, new coach, new quarterback. What do we have? The keys are the new quarterbacks. What do you have with the new quarterbacks? Now, the kid who went from Arizona State to LSU, we know he was very good. He was injured, so we'll see if he's better, but he was very good. So I'm not worried about his value. What I'm worried about is the new kid at Arizona State, the new kid at Nebraska, at Michigan. They need a new quarterback. I know what I got at Ohio State, USC. I'm not sure about UCLA because I got the James Madison coach. So you have all these questions that you need answered. You look at the box scores for most of them, but you're trying to get value for the team. Are they an A team? Are they a W? Are they an over? Are they an under? And you look, that's trying to establish value. So when the line comes out, you know what to do with them. You cannot bet if you do not know how good Tulsa is. How the fuck are you betting a Tulsa game? Oh, well, Pete the handicapper gave me Tulsa. And how did Pete the handicapper get you value on Tulsa? Oh, I don't know. I just bet it because he gave it. And, that's the problem with it. You can't do that. You've got to understand Tulsa and Texas and A&M and Arkansas and Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. You have to understand them. In the pros, it's easier because Joe Burrow's back and Chase is back and Rodgers is back. And, you've got your teams. Kyler Murray goes to many We got Jefferson. So it's not that much new of a team, and we pretty much see the games and know the teams. But in college, to know who Tulsa is, Bowling Green, how about them? How are you going to bet them? But you might bet they might be a lock this year because every once in a while they get a good team. And that's why you have to know them. That's why I go into the MAC and I A them and I Z them. And we make a lot of money betting against the Z teams from these bullshit colleges. And that's that's what we're doing. We're gathering the data to establish what the team is, to value the team, to look at the spread and going, oh, this spread should be 14. They were only laying 5. I did that a lot. I'll play a team that's -7 in my mind, and the spread comes out -3.5 or 4. And people say, well, you can't cross 0 in a teaser. I go, watch me, because it should be 7 down to 1, and I go 3.5 or 4 plus 2. Well, you're not going over 3. I'm not playing science. I'm playing art. And in my world, this team's 7 points favored, so I'm getting a 9.5, 10-point teaser. I'm taking a let's say a 3 to a +3. So there's -7. I get +3. I get 10 points, not a 6-point teaser. I get a 10-point teaser. So I don't give a fuck about crossing 0 because the team I'm betting should win the game anyway. And that's the whole point. Let me plug this mother back in. As I notice, my batteries are not lasting as long. All right. So your free plays in baseball: Detroit, Philadelphia, Milwaukee. Detroit's on at 1:30. Philly's a night game. Milwaukee's a night game. Probably the TV game because it's in LA and it's on at 7. Would be my guess. Although it is 7:15, so maybe it's not. We will see. But it should be on TV. It's Mizorowski. And that's why we bet him. We value him. Nobody can really beat him, but he can't be on he can't go 10-0. So he's going to go 8-2, and you just bet him 10 times. You win 8, you lose 2. And that's just the nature of the beast. He's not going to go 10-0. Just like me in football. I'm not going 100%. I'm going to have losers, but the basics is like now I'm betting Mizorowski. He will lose, hopefully not tonight. And that's what you're looking at. So when I give you Denver +9 against Kansas City, it will win 9 times out of 10. You're going to have a loser in there, but you're going to have a lot of winners. And that's why I'm taking the overall percentage that we're going to win a lot. But that's art, not science. Anyway, what else? So we've talked a lot about value. Girls, you want high value girls that match what you want and need in a girl. Your job should give you value. You should make a fair value. And if you're not, you should quit it and get another job. Now it's really hard because there's not a lot of jobs. AI is a bust. AI is a Ponzi scheme. AI will not work. It's not going to think. It's not going to be Terminator 2 or Terminator Genesis or any of those. It's just taking data. It can't think. It just takes data and spits it out the same as Google does. Why would I pay for AI? And please be careful. I get these telegrams from these people. I have no idea who they are. I don't know where they're getting my information from. Oh, what do you do? Hi, I'm Sue. I do this. What do you do? And I'm like, you're fucking AI. You're trying to get my information into AI is what they're doing. Well, what do you do for a living? Who the fuck are you? And it's none of your business what I do for a living. Then they ask, where do you live? And all these personal questions. And it's like, then you realize it's a scam and it's an AI scam. So be very careful when you get a telegram or a WhatsApp from somebody new. Just block them. I mean, nobody knows you. I mean, either they know you or they don't. Nobody out of the blue just, oh, hi. And, oh, what do you do for a living? And do you have any gold and silver? And you see those with Jamie Dimon, the biggest mafia guy in the world, with JP Morgan, and he does a video. Well, I'd like to know where you're from and if you have any gold or silver. Why are you collecting that information to go after people with gold and silver? Go fuck yourself. I wouldn't. I would say I'm from the moon, and oh no, I want U.S. dollars. That's the safe play because I know they're worth something. So when we talk gold and silver, it's because the value is gone. But the value in gold cannot go down. And please buy gold. Make sure you're buying a coin, and make sure you're buying an eagle that says 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 999 pure gold, $50. Because if it doesn't say gold on it, how are you going to sell it? Because you're not always going to be going to the coin store to sell it. You might want to give it to your wife or girlfriend or your kids. It's got to say gold on the gold coin. There was those James Bond, right? And from Russia with Love, those gold sovereigns. I saw one at my gold store and I said, "What's this?" It's how much is it? Well, it's about a third of an ounce. So it's not a quarter, it's not a half, it's about a third. How do you know it's gold? Because it doesn't say gold on it. They know it if you're going to sell it back to the store, but nobody else would know it. So make sure it says gold on it. Make sure it says 999 or something similar, although the Krugerrands might not, but that's okay. Make sure you take a magnet and it better not stick. If it sticks, just run. Don't walk out of the store. If you're going to buy jewelry for your girlfriend or wife, make sure it better not stick. And I would probably say most of them stick. I'd probably say these guys are scammers, and they would probably be selling you copper, telling you it's gold, figuring you're an idiot. You'll never know. You pull your magnet out and it, boom. Yeah, this is bullshit. This isn't really gold. And maybe you see it on the thing where it says, mine says 18 karat gold on it. Maybe that helps, but you got to know where you're buying it from, and they need to show you, they need to prove to you it's real gold. So you're satisfied. Now, the coins I told you, you'll be fine. You buy a maple leaf, says a half ounce of gold. Yeah, you're probably okay. It's got to look gold. The copper probably did not look gold that the Bank of China was selling. So don't trust these banks, and certainly don't trust China. And be very, very careful. Go to somebody that, like my store, where I know I'm buying real gold. And I went to sell the 2/4 ounces. He knew it was from me, that he had sold it to me. He took it and didn't even look at it. He knew it was fine. But I said, I moved. I need some monopoly money. So even Alyssa asked me about it, and I said, when are you going to sell it? I go, this is not an investment. This is not a stock. This is not a Bitcoin. This is not a Mantle card. You're not buying it to sell it. If you need monopoly money, then you can sell it, but you're not. The intent of buying it is because the dollars are going out. All the fiat dollars are worthless. So you want to hold gold to buy things. I'm going to buy a house with gold. I'm not going to sell it. I won't need a mortgage. Here's 2 ounces. Give me your house. Thank you very much. And that's what's going to happen for us. Oh, but gold, the house is 500,000. Gold's 4,000. How can that be? Because the 500,000 is a fake price. It's a monopoly price. And when the dollar collapses, the house goes to zero, and then it gets repriced. And then the gold becomes worth 50, 60,000. And then the real value of the house was 100 grand. 2 ounces of gold buys you the house. That's what's going to happen. But again, all the fiat currency is worthless. So you don't want the pound. You don't want, my friend, the euro. This is worthless. This is a piece of paper with a 5 on it. It's absolutely worthless. Here's a piece of paper. Here, is this worth? How much is this worth? These are my X-Men guys. So here, how much is this worth? It's a piece of paper. Not worth anything. It's a piece of paper. How much is this worth? Absolutely nothing. It's a piece of paper. The fact you can go to the store and even use it is because there's still the government saying it has value, even though they're lying through their teeth. And the grocery store really has no choice but to accept it because the grocery store must sell their inventory. So they have steaks. They've got to sell the steak. They bought the steaks to put it out to sell. They have to sell it. Now they're trying. All of a sudden, these steaks are $20 a pound. I saw it the other day, but I bought a New York strip on sale for $9.95 or something. Really good looking one too. So I got two, and that'll be dinner tonight. Well, I think I'm going to have salmon. They had salmon on sale for $10. Now here's the difference between me and 99% of the population. I look at it going, they can't sell. They need to put this on sale to sell it because they're not selling it for $20. So they got it marked at $22. They can't sell it because nobody in their right mind is going to pay $22 for a salmon or a New York strip. One lady bought a porterhouse, and I told her, why don't you buy the New York strip on sale for $9.99 or $9.95 or whatever? Well, I got a feeling for a porterhouse. Does it really taste any different than a New York strip? So I said, why don't you buy a few, put it in your freezer? She said, well, I got gout. I can't eat a lot of red meat. I go, that ain't why you got gout. It's the sugar and the caffeine, I think, is what is the gout. Too much acid. So anyway, that's what you want is the value. And keep an eye. The grocery stores have to take dollars. That's why you can use your credit card there. That's the point of it. So they have to take it. Otherwise, they wouldn't. And you can see we can't sell treasuries to any other country because they don't want it. You're going to fuck a lot of pension plans who have treasuries in them. You're going to fuck them over. In November is going to be the big change because we've got, I think, $10 trillion of debt coming due that we now got to roll over into 4 or 5% treasuries as opposed to 0% treasuries. So it's a lot of 0% 10-year bonds, 30-year bonds that are coming due that we've got to pay for. And that's why we're in all these wars, because we're fucked. We have to pay for all these, which we can't do because we don't have the money. So we go to war to steal the oil, which they won't let us. So it's like the bully coming up to you and you pushing him away, and the bully doesn't know what to do because he's the bully. He just shows up and scares you, and you give him everything. But when you push the bully back, he doesn't know what to do, and that's the U.S. right now. We're totally fucked. How are you going to go? So this is why I showed you the $20,000 options in November, December in gold on COMEX, and $500 options on silver also in November, December. So that's really the key to it. And that's why all these wars are there. But you can see the value of your dollar going down when Oreo cookies are now $6 for the 3-pack, or the 36-pack, and the Coke's $3, and the ketchup's $5, and the Lucky Charms are $6. That's what it's all about. It's the value of the dollar is not worth anything, so it takes more dollars to buy it. It is not prices. Prices is not inflation, and inflation is not 2%. It's not 1,000%. It's really the amount of money that you've inflated. So the amount of money out there is about $100 trillion. That's you don't really measure it. It's not worth anything. All you need to know is your dollar is not worth anything. It's been inflated to zero. That's all you need to know. And that's the bottom line. And so you don't pay attention to 2-3%. It's just bullshit. It's so the government doesn't look bad. Well, how did you let inflation go to 10,000%? So anytime you hear these guys talk percentage inflation or the gas prices are going up, so inflation's going to be huge. These are morons. They don't know what they're talking about. Prices going up is prices going up, period. It's not inflation. Inflation's only inflating the money supply. And just such a pet peeve for me, because you'll hear, well, inflation's going to be high in the summer because gas prices are up. No, gas prices are up because the supply's down, because these idiots with the Strait of Hormuz and the supply's not coming out. So you have less supply, high demand, prices go up. Same thing with gold. No supply, high demand, prices go up. Only the prices aren't going up. For some reason, they want to keep the price down, which again doesn't. Only in gold and silver are they doing this, but it's going to break loose very, very soon. So let's I think we're going to. I think in September we'll see $5,000 gold on its way to 10,000, probably by October, November, probably by November. And once they owe those treasuries, then Katie barred the door. It's gonna go way high. So we'll see $10,000 gold probably end of the year, probably this November, December. Silver about 500. The real values: gold about 25, 30,000, and silver about 2,500 to 3,500. That's the real value based on the supply figures and the demand. So if we only focus on what really gives value, 200,000 tons of gold, demand is up to the roof. The price has to be higher. That's what I'm basing it on. And the same thing in silver. 1 million tons of silver, huge demand, plus industrial demand. And that's where I get these higher prices, because this is what the prices should be with this demand and with this supply and this demand. High supply, high demand, low supply. Sorry. Low supply and high demand gives you a high price. So it's not really a guess, it's a fact, and that's what's going to happen. It's just taking a little longer because the fucking idiots at JP Morgan have to go and price fix it and keep the price down by shorting options. To anybody who tells you this is a real price of gold and silver, just look at them and try to get their head out of their ass, because they don't know what they're talking about. I was talking to a teacher in the hot tub. Oh, no, it's supply and demand. And I'm like, no, it's not. You're not even close. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Any questions, comments? So baseball, your games, Detroit, Philly, and Milwaukee today. We've been relatively hot. 14 units yesterday and a lot of units later. College football, pro football. We got 2 weeks from today. College starts. I would say next weekend I will post, and I would recommend buying, if you're going to buy, to start buying at that point, because you want to buy it before the lines move. And that's why I posted early, is so the lines, you'll get it with a proper line, because it's always the last day or two before the game, the lines shoot up. I already know where they're going. I already know who to bet. So that's the key to it. So I would do that. Again, the year at $750 is a steal, $35 a week. I'm charging you $100 a week now, which is a steal for as well as I pick. And again, I'm giving you a lot of games because I can figure out and problem solve a lot of games. So I can figure out what the teams are, and I go, oh, this is a good bet. And oh, wait. And you got 10 conferences, so there's always 1 or 2 games in it. And then you got, Ohio State playing Penn State, or they play Texas. That's a bet. And, let's see what UCLA looks like. They might be a good bet. Washington, Texas, Oklahoma. So there's so many teams that to come up with 10 bets is not hard. And the same thing in the pros. I always have at least 5 or 6 bets. And I've had this since the 70s. I've always been able to find a lot of bets because I understand the teams. And that's really the key to it. But it's an art, not a science. You can't formula it. I know people are trying, but you can't do it. You can't AI it. We'll take advantage of AI and eat it for lunch. And with that, I will go eat my lunch. So anything else? All right. www.teacherking.com. You can pay me in Venmo or you can pay me in PayPal. Absolutely fine. PayPal, just go on. If you're going to do an off one, please do friends and family. Otherwise, just pick the box and then the year 750 and it go. I don't see it, the transaction. I don't see the credit card. All I see is, hey, Fred paid me. Okay. And that's it. So really exciting football this year. God knows has been boring enough, and God knows with baseball, and God trying to figure out what the fuck these idiots are doing. This Mizorowski game, if you want to promote baseball, should be on regular TV, NBC Game of the Week. Joe Garagiola and whoever, and Tony Kubek. That's who should be doing the games. Even dead, they should still be doing the games, and that's really the key to it. So enjoy your day. We're halfway done August, so enjoy. Go to the lake, go play some golf. www.teacherking.com. All right. Have a nice day, everybody. Enjoy and relax. Stay safe.